Children are engaged in playing. Young boys are engaged in so-called love affairs with young girls. And the old are seriously thoughtful about adjusting a baffled life of struggle. But alas, no one is prepared to inquire relevantly into the science of God, the absolute truth. Thank God, there is a concept to rescue us from the usual impasse. Happily, we have it in our own Christian culture and other religious cultures as well. And we do not have to go to exotic places for a solution. You know, like, for example, the thing that we are experiencing right now in our country. People are using exotic ways to try to find solution, going in the streets and causing mayhem. Government action, reaction, the reaction of the government upon the action of the citizens. It's not appealing anymore in our country. Therefore, we are saying, thank God there is a concept to rescue us from the usual impasse. Happily, we have it in our own Christian culture and other religious cultures as well. And we do not have to go to exotic places for a solution. With this knowledge in these cultures, Christian and other religious cultures, there is a heady promise in various intellectual fields of escape from the conditions of knowledge. I said conditions of knowledge from the previous videos that we have been listening to. Knowledge, I said, is conveyed in three styles. We have the sublime, intermediate, and the low. When we come to the social, we have the high class, the middle class, and the low class. So these are conditions of knowledge that the law of nature inatweka upon, whether you like it or not. But then we are saying there is a heady promise in various intellectual fields of escape from conditions of knowledge. With this promise, an impossible kind of freedom is being proposed. Freedom from necessity of any kind. The way we know. You see, with the knowledge of Christ, we are told that we can even overcome death. Death we can overcome it. Sembuse vitu ambavyo tuna go through about in this country. We do not have to see things as matter of life and death. There is an approach. There is an approach to each and everything. And the only thing that we need is to give an ear, a listening ear to both of us. Therefore, I am saying, with this promise, an impossible kind of freedom is being proposed. Freedom from necessity of any kind. If we at all want to be freed from conditional existence, we must make relevant inquiries about the absolute truth. And this has to go to those leaders. They're saying that, what do we want? What do we want? We want truth. The absolute truth, and truth alone shall set us free. And truth, we can learn it. We just need to be humble and have patience, uvumilivu na kukua wanyenyekevu, kusoma na kusikiza wenzetu. Tutapata solutions na ukweli wa mambo. Therefore, I am saying, if we at all want to be freed from conditional existence, we must make relevant inquiries about the absolute truth, so that he may be pleased to bestow upon us perfect freedom in life. Perfect freedom in life only comes from the absolute truth. And we know the absolute truth is only one: God. Absolute truth can only, tunaweza kuokolewa na Mwenyezi Mungu. Na Mwenyezi Mungu ni ukweli unatoka kwa Mwenyezi Mungu. And we can see how we can learn ukweli wa Mwenyezi Mungu, because everything vitu vimechafuliwa. Things have been so impurified. Knowledge part of it. So we need to clean up everything. We need to clean up everything. This is what I am saying. Okay? That we must make relevant inquiries about the absolute truth, so that he may be pleased to bestow upon us perfect freedom in life. Therefore, it is the duty of mortal men each and every person, each and every citizen in this world, or rather in this country, it is your duty to inquire about, hear about, glorify, and meditate upon the personality of God. When I say personality of God, I say we should always inquire about, hear about, glorify, and try to meditate upon how we can see characteristics and features of God so that we can always try to make them. We try to use nature to appreciate our livelihoods. Okay? Therefore, what I am saying, it is the duty of mortal men to inquire about, hear about, glorify, and meditate upon the personality of God, who is the most attractive person because of his fullness in opulence. We can see these things. We can see these things. And I am saying it is very easy to see them. We can see our social context and we can realize this is the opulence of God. And when you are busy there telling us that we should live according to our means, and we can see you flourishing within your opulence, and you're just showing us how you're so full in opulence, and we can see it, then it is high time that we question ourselves. Why are we telling us that? Why are you guys telling us that this and that is not enough? But we can see the fullness of it through your actions, through your life. You see what I mean? And it is a high time that we realize that people are awakened and enlightenment is everywhere. And we need to appreciate that other people have also been enlightened, and we need to carry all of us into this enlightenment, and we do not need to be very selfish for ourselves. And therefore, I am saying that civilization is static unless there is a spiritual movement. Why? Because the soul moves the body, and the living body moves the world. Nowadays, we are concerned about the body so much, but we have no knowledge of the spirit that is moving that body. But without the spirit, the body is motionless. It cannot do nothing. It's said to be dead. You see? And this is what I am trying to relate with our social right now in this country. That we are so much concerned about, the government is so much concerned about infrastructure, housing. We are so much concerned about our boundaries, borders, and everything. But then, who's going to live in those houses? Who's going to get in those roads if we are not well? If we are not well fed? You see, you have material to go through all that, but we are saying it should also trickle to us. It should, the same opulence we are seeing in you guys, it has possibility to trickle to us. We should feel it. We should not just be seeing it. We want to be participants in it, in one way or the other. And it is possible. It is possible for me to enjoy and you to enjoy. At the same time, we all enjoy. Because I am saying there is the only thing that is bringing problem with us right now in the country, that is bringing all this mayhem of Mandamano and all that, it is issue of economics. And we know that these things can be done. My name is Oduoro Nyango, and this is D.T.M, Decoding the Mindset through the Word of God. And we would like to see our spiritual life with our material life, and we see how we can live in each and every day. But we need to be very patient and very humble to learn. Therefore, let's ask ourselves, what is economics about? It is not a difficult matter to give a simple and sensible answer to this basic question. Economics is essentially a study of the ways in which man provides for his material well-being. You see what I mean? Material well-being. Let's look into economists, the people who have to translate to us about the economy. You see what I mean? Economists are concerned with the ways in which man applies his knowledge, skills, you see what I mean, and efforts to the gifts of nature in order to satisfy his material wants. Gifts of nature, not your own things that you have managed or you have produced. You have to apply your efforts in an organized manner to satisfy his material wants through the gifts of nature. Therefore, we do not need to learn these things by speculation. It is a real thing. It's a real thing. It's a real issue. It's a real matter. Therefore, we need to consider everything. Let's try to see what is economics, because economists have to learn about economics. So, let's see is it the economics that is limiting people? And if it is the economics part of it, are there changes that we should make? Or is there an approach that we should again follow instead? Economics limits itself to the study of the material aspects of man's life. You see, there is actually a limitation already there. And while it is true that man cannot live by bread alone, it is equally true that he cannot live without it. An underlying problem in economics is that of survival. And we must examine how man has solved or is trying to solve this problem. So economics has a limitation about studying material aspects of man's life. So material aspects of man's life. Therefore, there is another realm that is not being touched. The spiritual realm. The spiritual realm. And I said, as above, so below. Therefore, we do not have to assume that it is only here in this material world that we try to solve our economic problems. Economic problems are everywhere, and everything runs about economy. So we need to redefine each and everything. We need to redefine each and everything. Therefore, it is not one thing that we will listen to and you feel like you have been answered. No, it is a process, a day-to-day life, and we need patience. Again, I am repeating, patience, humility, and transparency, and honesty, and empathy in each and everything that we have to go through as a nation if we need a real new era. This is mwamko mpya. Ni mwamko mpya, na kwa hivyo vitu vinafaa kufanywa tofauti. Si kulazimisha watu na vitu ambavyo jinsi vitu vilikuwa vinafanywa hapo awali. No. Therefore, let's see. If economics limits man to his material aspects, then a useful approach is to consider management to be a process whereby a suitable environment is created for effort to be organized to accomplish desired goals. If economics can actually limit man to material aspects, then it is very direct that even the people who are trying to manage the economics part of it will be limited, because the knowledge they have limits them. Therefore, the knowledge part of it should change. We said knowledge is conveyed in three modes. One, we have the sublime, we have the intermediate, and the low class. Therefore, we only know the low and the intermediate. What about the sublime, the unlimited, the spiritual life? How can we equate the spiritual life to all these things? And we see, can they actually solve our day-to-day life? Yes, it is very true, because God is in spirit. If we need to think about God and live and learn about God, then we have to live and learn him about in the spirit. Okay? Therefore, management considered as a profession, I would like to take it in this way. If we are considering government, then presidency is a profession. I would like to say that it is the duty of all responsible heads of state to chalk out their economic and other programs by referring to the Bible and other Vedic literature books. For example, Bhagavad Gita and Quran. And there are other millions of them. You see, because we have different translations and different cultures and religious cultures. Therefore, in these ways, we all try to explain our spiritual life. Life is life, and there is a manual. We were created, And if we are created with the manual. Watch Decoding the Mindset channel. Watch these channels for you so that we can learn. It's a new era, and it's an era of learning in each and everything. Therefore, this thing runs away from the clergy, the formation of it. Uko juu, tunafaa kwanza kuexplain hizi vitu na tunafaa kwanza kujua, tunafaa kuinvolve kila mtu wakati tunatengeneza vitu fulani kwa nchi ama kwa nyumba ama kwa mwili ama kimwenyewe, kisaikolojia. Hizi vitu vyote vina run up mpaka kwa binafsi, kwa mtu binafsi. Whatever we are trying to see in our social context right now in our country is a direct reflection of us, our spiritual life. We are disturbed. There is something that is lacking. We need to be refreshed. We need to be renewed. There is a nourishment that needs to happen right now and now and now. And we need to know how to go about it. And I am saying, for us to go about it, we need to be open to communication. The president said he's very open to communication. And if he is willing to communicate with us, then I am saying it has to consider the 3 levels of communication. It should be honest. 1, empathic. Empathy should be in it. They should be able to understand and step into our shoes. The 3rd one, I'm saying it has to be transparent. Very transparent and vivid. We have channels and signs of grace. Channels are everywhere online. Let's create platforms. Let's use our media so that we do not have to call one person or 2 people to go and sit in a hotel and try to tell us that, no, we are limiting ourselves to these things. We have to realize our spiritual life. Our spiritual life, it is very open in our social context. We need to apply the spiritual life in our social context for us to live a very transparent, peaceful, and organized life. Therefore, I am saying we are not meant to solve economic questions of life by balancing on a tottering platform. Rather, we are meant to solve the ultimate problems of life which arise due to the laws of nature. Laws of nature. I said, if you watch our previous videos, laws of nature: 1, there is birth. 2, there is old age.